Let's talk about cardio for a second, because I just finished doing my Sunday morning stroll. Cool 2.6 miles in the chilly 25 degrees. And what I'm liking about it is that it actually just gets me outside when I would otherwise be inside pretty much all the time because it's cold. When you're running, you're working up a sweat, obviously, and it's nice. The brisk air, super quiet, the woods. And I'm lucky enough to have a lake that I can run to that's 1.3 miles from my place. So down and back, it's half an hour, and I can just sit there at the midway point and take in the views. But that is not what this video is about. This video is about why you should or should not do cardio. Because what I see happening way too often is that guys are using cardio as a means of getting in shape and losing weight, and with a basic understanding of human metabolic pathways, you would easily see that that is not a game-winning strategy, especially when running in particular, which is the lion's share of the cardio, steady-state cardio that people are doing, is so murderous on your joints. It's just terrible. The amount of low back injuries, knee injuries that I see from avid runners is shocking. And the fact that they persist in this habit that gets them injured is equally shocking. So if you're going to run, actually, I got this from Eric Cressy. He said this a long time ago, and I believe it's by far the best way to summarize the entire thing. He said, don't run to get in shape to run. Don't run. And what I love about that is, number one, just running by itself, again, as like the mainstay strategy that you're going to use to lose weight, get in shape, it's not going to work. And number two, because of the impact on your joints and on your body, if you're going to run for whatever reason, some people really enjoy it. I get it. That's a good, if your mind is just really busy and you haven't otherwise developed the skills to quiet your mind, then running is a good way of generating some presence, because you're focused on the physical exertion of the run, and it kind of can clear your head without you really having to try. So if you're going to run, get in shape to run, aka strength train, so that way you have the resiliency in your joints and in your system, especially in those key areas, like I said, knees, hips, low back, ankles, obviously, which is a whole nother video, which we won't get into. So let's talk about when strategically cardio is a good idea. Because like I said, I actually just got back from a run and I've been shitting on running this whole time, but it can be effective. Fasted cardio as the icing on the cake to your fat loss strategy, very effective. And in terms of total volume, if you were to throw in a couple of cardio sessions to the tune of, 1 to 2 to 3 at 20 to 30 minutes a pop, on top of a foundation of metabolic resistance training or strength training, then now that starts to make sense, because what's happening when you run is you're utilizing your aerobic capacity entirely. And so when you run, heart rate goes up, cardiac output goes up, oxygen consumption goes up. And then when you are done running, all of that returns to baseline, and you go right back to the metabolic rate that you were at before your run. Now, compare that to strength training or resistance training, which elicits a long-term increase in metabolic rate. And you see immediately why the time that you spend resistance training over the long term is going to have is going to have exponentially more benefit in terms of fat loss and body composition than a straight up run does. Not only because you're elevating your metabolic rate for a longer period of time, up to 72 hours after the bout of exercise with resistance training, but also after about 12 weeks, that adaptation to anaerobic training, more muscle starts to come in. And muscle is calorie hungry tissue. So your metabolic rate goes up even more, or the amount of calories that you can consume without turning it into fat goes up. And that's ultimately what we're all about. So long story short, use your cardio as strategic icing on the cake, as it were, on top of, and where the cake is your resistance training, your strength training in the gym, building muscle, getting strong, fixing movement patterns, generating balance, muscle coordination, full strength through range of motion, etc. And I'd say like anywhere between 60 to 100 minutes of cardio per week when used in tandem with this greater strategy should be plenty. Because, yeah, burning an extra, 400 calories in a run or, a bike or a row or whatever it is, a swim is totally cool. But you just want to make sure that for the long term, if you really want to have good body composition, that you have good muscle. And running isn't going to give you muscle. In fact, when you run too much, like most people do, it crushes your muscle. It eats it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And if it's a quiet Sunday morning and you're sitting here in the cold, well, you're sitting here in the warm and you want to get out in the cold, run might not be a bad idea.